Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have y'all tuned in this afternoon. I want to do a couple of things. Ask you if you're getting tuned in to do a couple of things for me. I want you to tag a couple of friends. If you would, share this right here to a couple of pages, if you would. Looking to have a great afternoon. Hey, man, we got some special guests in with us this afternoon. We got Joey. We got Kaleb Page with Catch Your Fever Rods in with us. And we're going to have a blast tonight. Chad Bryant's in the house with us and Aaron Churchwell. Chad, man, how you doing?
Good, guys. How are y'all, man?
Hey, man, we're doing great. What about it, Bobby?
Man, Bobby's been being Bobby today. It's going to be a fun one, though. We got a state record holder. We got the owner of Catch the Fever in here, or one of the owners, and it's going to be a good show tonight.
Yes, sir. We want to introduce y'all for the ones who may not know, but I'm more sure he's probably no stranger to anybody on here. Kaleb Page, one of the owners of Catch the Fever. We're glad to have you here tonight with us, Kaleb. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and introduce yourself to the crowd.
Well, thank y'all so much for having me on the show. This is definitely one of the things that gets a lot of attention. So it's an honor to come out here and talk about the brand. But my name's Kaleb Page. I'm a co-owner of Catch the Fever Outdoors. We specialize in catfish rods and striper gear. And we've been around since about 2015. And what we're most famous for is, of course, our big cat fever rods. And, started out as an angler on the water, moved over into the product side of it. And here we are 6 years later. So it's been fun.
Hey, after you started your rod company, how did that affect your fishing time?
It went down tremendously, but it's going to be worth it. I hope down the road where I get to do a little bit more fishing for sure, but it hurted a little bit.
Yes, sir. We're waiting on Joey to get back in tune with us. We're going to pick up with him in a minute. Guys, I want to as we get started, I want to thank everyone who helped support this program. We appreciate it so much. I want to give a shout out this afternoon before we get started to Troy Smith at Rocko's Grocery. He is located on 8365 East State Highway 106. I live in the woods, and I think his store is just as far in the woods. So
he's about 5 miles past Stacy's house.
So, guys, if you're out this way and you're running around, you need some gas, you need some food, you're going out 106 East, stop by and see Troy Smith at Rocko. We appreciate it so much. Let's see if we got Joey back in with us now. Hey, Joey, can you hear us, man?
He's working on it.
He's going to get signal right now. So we're looking. I want you, Kaleb, we're getting started right here. Give a little introduction here about Joey. We got him on his show tonight, and he is a record holder of something. You know a little bit about that.
He is. That goes back to one of the cool parts of starting this company is the people that you meet. And Joey is one of those guys that, first off, when I'll brag on him because he ain't gonna brag on himself. But the first thing about Joey, when you meet him or you hear anything about him, he is absolutely the most humble person that I know. Joey Baird could catch a state record every single day of the week, and he's going to be just as humble as can be. He don't expect nothing. He just takes what the good Lord gives him, and that's the kind of person he is. And I think that is a big part of why he's so successful as an angler, and just good things come his way. But Joey caught the state record. We're actually this past weekend on July 4th, guys, that was his anniversary. He caught the state record last year on July 4th. So we're actually celebrating that 1-year anniversary right now. And, that's kind of cool. And his dad grew up striper fishing with his dad. And Joey always had a big heart for catfishing. And, he's always been around Lake Gaston and targeted trophy fish. But, last year on, this week, he got the big. He's the title holder here in North Carolina.
Yeah,
right
hey, That seems to be something that's also, I was talking to him last night, and you're exactly right. My first time talking to Joy was last night a little bit, and he's an awesome guy, man, just as humble. And me and him was talking, and this state record has changed. It seems like it's an ongoing thing. So that lake there must be producing some great fish there.
It is. It really is. You know, Lake Gaston, you know, it's definitely put out some big fish. Zach Royce caught the 2 state records and got the state record ball rolling. You know, it seemed like ever since Zach's, and I think what it is, you know, Zach's story went viral with the 2 state records. And I think that brought a lot of people out on the water, out there fishing. And then you had the young man who called a state record. Joey, he'd always been out there, but, you know, then he caught his state record. Gaston is definitely a trophy fishery. I don't think for anybody watching, if you're looking to go fish Lake Gaston, give Joey a call on his guide business or Zach, because let me tell you, that's a hard lake to fish. I would definitely advise going to them guys, booking a trip before you go. It does have some big fish, but it can be a tough body of water.
Yeah. Hey, Joey, you got us back. Have you tuned in with us now? If you got service, are you connected?
You're good, Joey. That looks good.
I had to drive about 5 minutes up the road from my house.
Well, hey, man, we got you. Joey, if you would, I want you to introduce yourself here. Are you good to talk right now?
If I can, if I have these fancy cell phone holders, I'd be all right. But I'm trying to hang up in the GMC and talk to you.
You're doing good. Introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself, Joey.
All right. Joey Baird from Brunswick County, Virginia, just right at the North Carolina line. This is my hometown right here in Brunswick County. The Baird family, you know, was right here before this lake was actually built, right at Lake Gaston. I've been fishing this lake pretty much my whole life. 40 years old, got a wife and 4 kids. I've pretty much been working 2 or 3 jobs since I graduated.
How did you have time to catch a state record?
It's actually funny because I made time that night. I'd actually sold a fence job to some folks I met that just moved to Lake Gaston, and I invited them out on the boat that night fishing. So it kind of goes back to the fence business as to how I ended up with the state record. So good Lord's got a plan with everything. So I'm a firm believer in that.
Yes, sir. Joe, let's jump into there because this is what everybody's wanting to hear and talk about. Because this is something that just don't everybody do. It's first of all is catch a state record and catch one that's 121 pounds. You know, tell us a little bit about where you caught him at, and tell us a little bit about this catch, man.
That fish weighed in at 121 pounds, 9 ounces. I've always loved catfishing. It's just something I've done since my dad owned his guy business on this lake back in the 90s. The fishing was really, really good here on Lake Gaston back then. And that was, you know, back in the days before they sprang lakes. But the stripers have kind of declined since that time. I kind of switched over full force on the catfishing when the stripers started declining.
Good
Aaron, Joey, let's talk a little bit about this right here. On the catch right there, what is your preferred method of fishing on that lake? You do some guiding on that lake also, don't you?
Everybody who knows me knows that I'm a big anchor fisherman. I love anchoring up on structure, the mouth of creek. If we get a big rain, and areas that I've already scanned before, looking for new structure that has come, you know, from floods and different things. try to find those fish that are holding up in them structures on the lake. So I love anchor fishing. I'll pull boards every now and again, but I feel like my big fish are coming off of that.
Yeah. And when you talked about, made mention about your big fish, the big fish come off an anchor, I'm gonna ask Chad and Aaron, what do y'all feel about that? Chad, let me just ask you this: where did your big fish come from?
Me and you talked about this several times before. You know what I think. I think your numbers of fish come off dragging baits, but I think your big fish, when they get to that 70, 80, 90, and 100-pound mark, I think they come off anchor.
Aaron, what's your thoughts on that?
I believe that if you talk to like Mike Mitchell, Mike Mitchell lives by the rope, and that man puts a ton of just big fish in the boat, and he lives by the rope. I think that trolling motor's got something to do with them big fish. I think that's why you don't catch. I mean, I've caught some 70s and 80s, drifting baits and stuff like that, but you don't catch the number of them that you do on the rope.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've noticed. Just off the top of my head, I know that in the last couple of years, there's been probably close to a half a dozen fish that's went over 80 pounds that's been put in the boat, and every one of them come off an anchor.
Yep.
And I think we've caught one around 70-ish, dragging, moving. But man, it's sitting still. I don't know what it is, and just being patient seems like to me that's what. I don't know what it does, but if I'm looking for big fish, I want to be putting it in front of it, and I want it sitting there for a while.
Yes, sir.
Is that your and Joey? You made mention, because I'm going to tell you one thing. Me and you, man, which I do all kind of stuff, but I love to anchor fish. It's just something I've always done. I love dragging baits too. I love both of them. But there's certain times when if I got some current, I'm gonna be sitting still. I want to be anchored. I want to be looking for that big fish, and if you'll see me on my home body, I'm hitting the mouth of every creek. That's where I'm going.
Part of your question, guys, I lost service there for a second, but I heard part of it. I didn't hear the first part.
We was talking about just about anchoring and stuff like that. You made mention about the fish in the mouth of creeks. That's one of the things that I love to do. And tell us a little bit of what you think about the mouth of the creeks and what caused you to go there.
A lot of people ask me that. I caught that state record, and I use hunting the way I hunt, the way I fish, and it's funny because like, what do you mean? I look for travel corridors when I'm hunting. I look for pinch points. I look for food sources, and I look for that deer hunting. When I'm fishing, I kind of look for the same thing. So it all. I'm looking for my bait, the creek that are that main lake. I'm looking for your drop offs, your pinch points. It all comes hand in hand. Same way. I'll find big fish, and I'll pick up on very big fish. Some people like to hit and move. I'll set the a lot of times.
Joey, hang on just a minute. How long will you sit in a place if you know that there's big fish there? How long will you sit there?
I sat the James tournament all day.
Yeah.
All day?
All day. I sat all day. The guy turned, all I did was I changed probably 100 yards from the creek. Because those big, I'll sit on one probably an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes.
Yeah. I'm on Chad. you and Aaron tune in on this right here, because I know that both of y'all anchor fish some too. And I know what mine, and me and Joey Kirby anchor fish a lot. And that's where our big fishes come off of. And we'll anchor down sometimes, and I'm telling you, it's like, hey, we're here for the duration, win, lose, or draw. We think this fish is here, and we feel like you do. We feel like these are traveling. There's just corridors these fish maybe move in and out of. And I really think that it's if I want to catch that big one, it's like trying to hunt a big buck. We know he's moving through here. We know he crosses this road at some time of the day. I just need to be here when he decides to come up through here. And so we liable to sit on a place, man, 4 or 5 hours, and not move, just sit right there. Hey. And we've sit there for hours and hours and never even seen a pole move. And all of a sudden, you hear drag ripping and things seem like they're going to crack it. You're like, oh, my God, we got him home.
and sometimes it takes 15 minutes and it's already happening. You never know.
It does.
Right. That's true. That is very true. That's true.
So, Joey, when you're targeting those creek mouse and stuff like that, are you scanning and looking for fish, or are you just looking for corridors, pretty much?
Well, avionics tool that I study that. If I'm going to a new body, I want to go scan.
Yeah.
I'll mark those areas, go scan. And I'll try. Sometimes I don't even mark big fish, but if I mark big fish, probably gonna be close by. But I bypass those areas. I will hit those areas, what I can come up with. I use the side scan when I come up with those stuff and look what I got going on right there.
So does Gaston? Does it have a lot of current coming through it for most of the time?
In the spring, they're normally above, they're draining bugs out. But it doesn't have a lot of it just depends on what rain they'll open gates. But those fish, I like the James River. That's some strong and down there in Alabama. I think where it was on the last day of the
Yeah, they kicked that current up that day pretty good.
That day.
Yeah, that moved a lot of fish that day. That was pretty rough on everybody.
That's true.
You want to add anything in here, man?
Yeah, I mean, well, for around me, I don't fish Lake Gaston a lot, but for me, this time of year, I always look forward to the spawn, because the spawn means for me that the fish are moving in the river, and the best time for me to go fishing is really in July for where we're at. Depending on if you're down in Texas, that may be June for you. Places that warm up faster than others. People are up north, it may be, beginning of August. Yeah. But July for me, it really gets good. And I tell a lot of guys that come in my showroom or come in our showroom or asking where to go, I'm like, look, a big part of those fish just went up the river to go spawn. They got to come back down. Use this time as an opportunity, like Joey said, as a pinch point. My focus is getting in those rivers that bleed back into that lake, and those blues are coming through there 50, 60 pounders. I'm talking big ones, nice ones. They're coming through there, and when they're there. Yes, sir. It's not like wintertime. It's not like that, no, sir. That rod slams down. You talk about SmackDown, they smack down. That's what they do. So I tell guys, really focus, on those rivers that are bleeding back into that lake because they're going down. They're hungry, man. They may not look good. They may be beat up from the spawn, but man, it's a fight. It's a big fight.
You know what? One of the things we noticed in just the last couple of weeks, we was up on the wheeler fishing not too long ago, and me and Scott Childers was there fishing, and we caught some that was 15, 20 pounds. And when they hit it, I mean, son, they nailed it.
Yeah.
Freight trading.
I'm telling you.
That's right.
This is my favorite time of the year to fish. And I think it really, because not all those fish go on the bed at one time. It's physically impossible. There's not enough real estate for them all to go spawn at once. That's the last 2 YouTube videos I put out were about targeted fishing the spawn. And I think it makes fishing a little bit easier because you don't want to target fish that are actively spawning and you stay in that deep water. You're going to catch fish that, haven't, even attempted to go spawn yet. Or you can go fish the shallows and catch fish that are just coming off or just going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite time of the year, especially for numbers of fish.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you're one of those guys that fish for flatheads with your clickers on, and sometimes I do that, when them blues come through and hit it, flathead, it's like zit, zit, zit. A blue come through and just about backlash your reel while it's in the clicker stage.
Yeah.
He will. Hey, I want to tell this, and maybe he'll tune in sometime. I know he's out playing ball tonight. Me and Joey Kirby, how he has the patience to do this, I've yet to know. We're sitting there in the boat. He's got his clicker on. I mean, it's one of them things we've been sitting there for an hour. Everything is quiet. It's about 10 o'clock at night. And that clicker hits, and it's going so fast. It's just going, and I'm hollering. I'm just hollering at him. Lock it down, lock it down, lock it down.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like wicked tuna. I can't. My skeleton comes out of my body going. It's like wicked tuna.
Oh, yeah, that's exciting right there. That gets your adrenaline pumping, man.
Big time, especially when you got people that don't get to go that much. And I kind of put myself in that category now. But when I take people, that really truly don't get to go that much, and they see that rod get slammed down or that clicker starts going off. I mean, people, they get hooked, man. They get hooked. This is the best. To me, you just put one of them question up, what's best, pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn? And I think all of them are great. But I love this time of year because, like Aaron said, they're just aggressive and you get numbers. It's predictable. They're hungry. If you can stand or fish at night, you're going to find them.
Yeah, yes. Hey,
there's a question here. Said what action rod and what pound test line was he using when he caught the state record?
I was using the medium heavy. Actually had the original medium heavy at fever rods. I was using a 65-pound Power Pro braid. I caught it with a 80-pound.
Yeah. 65-pound braid with you said 80-pound mono leader?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I fish the slap line on my new Hellcat rod. I just fishing at night. I love being able to see that line light up with that black light.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that stuff glows, don't it?
Yeah.
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 Hey, Joey, when we here, man, I want you to you started to get. You've been a cop for several years. You told me the other night. But now you're doing some guiding. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So up until that, I've been police officer for the last 17 years. I started law enforcement career back in 2004. And I did my fence business on my days off from law enforcement. Most police officers, firefighters, we all have side hustles that we do throughout that time. But fishing and hunting came too. So now, since I've caught the state record, I kind of transitioned over, and I decided to kind of follow steps a little bit, and I pulled his old boat name and used it on my gas service team. So Blue Persuasion is the name of the guy business, and that was the name of my dad's boat back then.
That's awesome.
Joey, this year I put your phone number up here. Is it the correct number? Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
He's giving out your information.
If y'all in that North Carolina area on Lake Gas and looking for a place to looking for a good guide service, y'all contact him here at this number. He'll set you up, man. He'll carry you out. And I don't know if he'll put you on a state record, but he'll try.
I meant to ask you, State, are you from Georgia?
I'm from Alabama, South Alabama.
Okay.
He's way down yonder in the swamp, son.
Swamp.
These people, every time, I don't know where this comes from, because I know I got a strong accent, because everybody thinks I'm from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Close.
They say you sound like a Cajun. I said, well, I'm close enough to Louisiana already.
We have to give them Georgia boys a little hard time up here in Brunswick, Virginia, because, you know, we are the original Brunswick dude. You know,
That's right. That's
I
right.
live in Georgia, but I ain't originally from here. I grew up in Missouri.
Hey, I want to do something while I've got a chance here. Let me take one break right here just for a second. I'm gonna be doing 2 giveaways I know of right now. I'm gonna give one away. I'm gonna give 4 SmackDown 4-inch rod holders away, and I want to make sure I give them to the right person. So if you're in the chat tonight, if you're wanting or looking for 4 SmackDown rod holders, I just want you to put rod holders in the chat bar if you would. Some of y'all may already have some, so just put rod holders in the chat, and we'll choose from that. And guys, I've got a certificate here from River Rat Reel Repair. It is good for 5 free cleanings. We're going to give that away tonight. So if you're interested in a reel cleaning, I also want you to put in the chat reel cleaning. And we're going to choose from there. If you need a reel clean, we want to thank Jared and Christy Tempest for Cindy Crept.
You done messed that up.
I was doing so good, though. Let me go back again. I want to thank Jared Tempest from River Rat Repair for helping us out with this right here. Thank you so much. We got a couple of these we're going to give away each week, so y'all stay tuned in with us. So if you need a reel repair, just put in there in the chat, reel repair, and we'll choose from that.
I got another giveaway, too. I don't know if you guys know who Cat River Anchor is. I'm pretty sure y'all do.
John and Christy.
John.
Yep.
And he said that we're going to give away a 20-pound HD.
20-pound HD.
Wow. Yep.
Hey, so listen, that sounds good. We'll do that right there from the SDC. The people that's put in SDC, we'll do that right there, 20-pound anchor. That's going to be the heavy-duty one.
Yep.
So
that thing
right there.
Yeah.
That thing, you ain't.
I don't want that on my boat. I don't want to pull it.
I
got one. I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures of the one that looks like a wiener dog.
Yeah.
It's their of a box anchor, and I've been using that thing for about the last month. And I'm telling you what, you drop that thing down, and it touches, it's stuck.
You ain't going nowhere.
Moving.
No.
20 pounds. It's the same as the HD. I mean, it works. I mean, their HD's a really good anchor too, but that's a beast of an anchor.
I've got
yes,
2
sir.
down.
Yeah.
They work really good on that 20.
While he's looking that up, Kaleb, let's talk about the rod side of it.
Yeah.
So what got you into building rods? I remember back then we had, we had TWC, Warrior Cat. They were all in the market. What drove you to really produce a rod and really take on the industry like you guys did?
Well, I feel like, people create products for kind of where they're at. I think if you're down in Texas, you're building a rod for what you see on a daily basis. I feel like if you're over here in Missouri, you're building rods, for what you see in that. I feel like we're really fortunate to be where we're at because, we're about an hour, 45 minutes from the James River and people throwing 10 to 16 ounce weights. And then we're right here on Kerr Lake, Lake Gaston, where you're throwing 2 to 3 ounces of lead. So I like to feel the fight on a fish. And the rods that I use at the James River, I'd bring them back here and I'd catch a 20 pounder. I'm just winching him in. And plus I missed a bunch of fish because my rod was so dang stiff, but I needed it to be stiff because in the James River, I don't want it loaded up, sitting there.
Yeah.
So there was just this need that I felt for our area of a rod that you can turn around and go fish, strong current and fight a fish and then come over here on Kerr Lake or wherever anybody's body of water is and catch a 20 pounder with 2 ounces of lead and it still bow up beside the boat. It's got a great action for circle hooks. And it just, for me, I felt like, man, that'd be so awesome to have. I could get rid of all these rods. And that's kind of what got us going into that. So my buddy, Tony Caton, he was fishing. We were fishing all the time. I had just a little 17-foot Carolina skiff we were going out on. And, we were fishing all the time, tossing this idea around, and we said, man, this is a need. Let's do something about it. So that's how it got.
You guys were one of the first companies that actually put all stainless guides and the aluminum reel seats on rods. Because, back then, TWC and all them, they had plastic reel seats. They had the inserts in their guides and everything like that.
Yeah, it was something where we wanted guys who were using braid could use it, and then also guys who use monofilament, to be able to use that as well. And if you wanted to use it in other applications closer to the coast or something like that, it's just a bulletproof package because, as us as catfish anglers, we are tough on our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If there ever was a word, we're tough. I mean, we just and they just had to hold up. They had to hold up.
Yeah.
So,
how long you been in business now?
Since 2015, about 6 years, just about. Right around 6 years. We started at the end of 2015, so really it feels more like 5. We were launched around November in 2015, but not long, not that long. So,
Kaleb, I saw a podcast you did not too long ago. I think you filmed it while you were at Catapalooza. Catapalooza.
Yeah.
So you had just started the company. You were brand new. Yeah. And then you got the phone call that you were going to have to pay out some money. Take us through that. Tell everybody that may not have seen it about that right there.
You want to say you talking about gray hair? You got it real quick. We put it out there, and you can imagine in our business meeting. It's, what's the odds of somebody catching a state record in the first year, allowing us to kind of get some legs underneath us? No, sir. Zach held it like the first month we were in business, but that was a trying time. But thankfully, we had just got our rods in. We had sold a good amount of rods because basically we were selling them on the fact of we were writing articles letting anglers know we're solving a problem. Have you ever been somewhere where your rod wasn't enough and then you went somewhere else and it was too much? We've got a fix for that. And, so we had sold some, but, that was a trying time. When you're starting a company, the last thing you want to have to do is get rid of about $15,000 on the first month of business. And, that was tough. But we got through it, and it was a blessing. Zach's got business, started, and that went viral, and people were asking about the products. Who's this guy who's getting paid to fish? Asking about our brand, and it was just good for everybody at the time, getting the word out.
So the whole industry had their eyes on you when that happened, because when you guys came out and you guys were like, look, you could win 15 grand just for wearing our products and using our products to catch fish. And, you know, in everybody's mind, that's what was going through our mind, you know. I mean, what's the odds? Because 90% of the time when somebody catches a state record fish, it's Peapaw Jones down the road down there with his grandkids out in the boat with a Zebco 33 and 10 pounds.
I know. You know,
you guys, you know, Zach did it, and he did it, you know, what was it, within 48 hours?
Right, 24 hours.
Or, yeah, within 24 hours. Caught 2 of them, and everybody was like, are they really going to pay this out?
Yeah, for sure. And I tell guys, it's more likely seeing it now than you think. You know, you guys know where to find big fish. And as new anglers come in, sure, you're going to have those anglers that luck up on it. But as they learn and they get information about catfishing and bait patterns and where big fish stack up, you're putting baits, a lot more baits in likely places, you know, that will hold those big fish. You know, we've had so many people that were a half an ounce. I think it's happened 5 times where people were within an ounce of winning, you know, or of earning the state record payout. I mean, it's more likely than you think, guys, especially if you go out and catch big fish on a daily basis. You got a really good chance, I feel, from the calls and the closeness we've got from having to pay that out multiple times.
So just
how many times have y'all paid it out?
What's that? We had a payout for Zach Royce. We had a payout for Joey Baird. We had a payout for Tyler Barnes. So right there, that's 4. That's 4 titles that we paid out. And like I said, it's been twice that as far as people being 1 ounce away.
Wow.
Hey, let me take a timeout right here. Let me take a timeout right here just 1 second. I'm fixing to do a giveaway of the River Rat Reel Repair. And the winner of this right here is going to be Scott. Scott, I can't pronounce your last name, but you can see who you are. Hey, Scott, if you would, message me on Facebook Messenger. Send me your address, tagging that message that you was a winner of the reel repair, and I'm going to get this certificate to you, and you can take care of it from there. So we appreciate you. Hold on. What happened? Oh, yeah, am I still with y'all?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm back.
We got you.
Well, I hit the wrong button and I went clean over here. So Scott, just give me a contact, give me a message, and I'll make sure this here gets to you. I want to go ahead at this time, and I am going to give away 4 of the 4-inch SmackDown rod holders. So, and we're going to give our anchor away last tonight, Bobby.
All right. Well, while you're drawing that one up, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kaleb, but you guys pay out once a year.
Yep.
For a blue and once a year for a flathead and a channel, right? So it's
one physical payout per year if it's any of the above. And we're going to end up upping it where there's more opportunities, more payouts throughout the year. In the beginning and even now, we don't have insurance. We don't do insurance, so that allows us to be more custom with our payout. But if you are using a Catch the Fever rod and you catch a eligible species on the payout list, you go to catchfever.com, click on payouts. You catch a eligible species on that list, that using the rod, that's a $10,000 payout. If you have the apparel on in the photo with the fish, that's an additional 5. That's 15. So there's one $10,000 payout and there's one $5,000 payout. So basically two payouts. So, and then that resets the next year. So let's say Joey Baird is out there. He catches another North Carolina state record. We have not paid out yet this year. He would be eligible for the payout, and then it would start over again in January 1st of 2022. So,
okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's how it works. And how it works is basically you're earning the money, because what we do is if you do qualify, you do meet the the terms. We pay you for an interview, and pay you that way. So
Yeah.
And one cool thing about it is the stipulations are that fish must swim away. That fish must be released alive.
And
so that helps with the conservation side of things as well.
Absolutely. There has been topic, and people have mentioned, they say, catch fever, Kaleb, what's the deal, man? People are going to end up trying to keep that fish, and it's more likely you're paying to kill fish because people are catching what they believe the eligible state record. Now they're trying to put it in their boat. They're trying to go get it certified. So that way, you guys are causing people to kill big fish. And that is not true, not at all. Before we ever came about, there was people catching state records, throwing them on ice, not worried about it, throwing them in the bottom of the boat, going to go get it certified. We did not change people from wanting to have their name in the book. We wanted people to stop and say, should I take this big fish that I think is eligible and throw him down in the bottom of the boat, put him on ice, or should I do everything I can to keep this fish alive so that way it can be released, so we keep that conservation, we get that message out. So that is the purpose of the payout. It is to encourage people to make that effort to keep that fish alive. Because before we ever came on the scene, somebody thought they had a state record. They threw it in the bed of their truck and rode it around town.
Yep.
We wanted to stop that. We wanted to stop it.
Yeah. Here's the winner of the SmackDown. There's 4 SmackDown rod holders. Richard Boyer, send me a message on Facebook Messenger. Send me your address and that you won the rod holders, and I'm going to get these right here to you. Joey, I want to ask you a question. You're there on Lake Gaston. Is there what's your favorite season there? When's your favorite time to fish? For big, let's say big ones, because you probably like to fish anytime. But if it's like anybody else on here, they probably have a special time that they really tune in when them big boys is out roaming around.
Well, if I had to choose a time, I would choose probably January. Lake Gaston is a known lake for it's a lot of tourists that come here, vacation. Summertime, this lake is wide open. So, if you're planning on fishing in the morning time, you better be up with the chickens, and you can get a couple good hours first thing in the morning. But you better have your Dramamine in the boat, because it's going to get to rocking here in a few.
I was just about to say that. I was out there this weekend, and I thought I was going to pop a Dramamine for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This time of year, fishing on Gaston, I normally go out after dark, and I'll fish. But if I had to choose a time to fish on Gaston, it would be January, because you're out there a lot of days. You'll fish and you won't see but maybe 1-2 boats. But yeah, that's my favorite time to fish on Gaston, and it's after hunting season too. So
that's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. That's true.
My kids love to hunt, so I kind of focus my time on them, trying to get them on some big bucks.
I wanted to ask Joey that, and I don't think I've asked him this before. As much as we live not far from each other, but we don't get to see each other so much because he's busy. But Joey, I know you're not going to tell people where you caught the state record, but could you describe the area for me? Like, I've always just wanted to know personally, if I, wanted to go out there, what is it?
Going over well.
Yeah, what is a big fish like that? What does he own? Is it structure, cover? Is it what about that spot? What about it?
I'll give you one hint, Kaleb. It's in 25 foot of water.
Yeah.
And
wow. Yeah, thanks. Good deal. I got a pond that's 25 foot deep. That don't mean I'm catching
this may help you out a little bit more. Was it mid lake, upper lake, lower lake?
No, I'm curious. Did you catch him on a ledge? Was he, are you ledge fishing?
He was right at the main river channel.
Okay.
Fishing the ledge. It's a mussel bed right there on a flat that drops off into that river channel. I was fishing that.
That's awesome.
You got everybody in the comments right now going, I know where that spot is.
I know that spot.
Hey, Aaron.
I that right around at night, and they just look for my black light on the boat, and they're like, I got my notepad out. I saw you over here tonight. So.
You ought to have those LEDs. You can change the colors of your lights, change it up every night.
Hey, you would be surprised where Stacy has caught all them big fish on Wilson. Everybody and their brother has got that marked on their depth finder. If they've ever seen him putting there.
They have. I've had them to pull up beside me and just ease past me. And I'm like, well, I think they hit the GPS probably.
Yeah.
They hit that little mark button right over there.
Yeah. That's cool you said mussel beds, because I was out on Kerr Lake the weekend before last, and a guy came up to me. He used our products, and he said, where would you go fishing right now? And I said, right now in the summertime for our area, and if you're in the area, anybody watching this, like Kerr Lake, it's a lake. You look for red clay points that are near the channel. Red clay points, because red clay produces mussels, and those big fish, it's no effort to just suck them up. So anybody watching, if you fishing a lake, especially around here, red clay, that's what you look for. I ain't even looking at the fish farm, looking at the bank.
You know what's funny? I just now realized that I have quite a few areas. Now, we don't have red clay here, but we have some clay banks here on Wheeler that I've got quite a quality fish off of. I never thought about that.
I was just fixing to say there, when I'm flathead fishing, if I'm running a river and see one of them red clay banks, I'm like, I'm going to turn. I'm like, man, there's a flathead here. I promise you there's one here.
Yeah.
Hey, there was something else, Joey, because you made mention about ledges. And I'm just going to ask y'all guys this, because if you see me dragging baits, anchored or whatever, I am on some kind of structured ledge or something. I just don't just go out and just
anchor in
jump
the middle
in
of
the
the lake.
middle and just go to dragging. I'm on a ledge. And I was told years ago by an older guy, and I had never forgot this, and it's always just produced from me. He said them ledges are a sort of a reference point as these catfish travel, and I'm stuck with that, and it has produced. I don't know what y'all's mindset on that right there is, as far as the ledges. Does them catfish identify with that ledge as they come up through there? Is that what they're moving off of? Because that's what that older guy told me that one time. I ain't never forgot it, and I've stuck with it, and it has produced for me time after time.
Well, I think this will help you break it down a little bit more. Blue cats are mostly current oriented or temperature oriented for the most part. A lot of people look at a channel ledge and they look at it as that's a highway for fish. I don't think it's necessarily the structure part of it that is a highway for them. I think, even in the Tennessee River when they're running, 20,000 CFS, you can't anchor up in it and fish, but there's still current under the water. That I think that's what moves those fish, is they can get right on the seam of that current and follow that current.
That makes sense.
What's your thoughts, Joey?
Those ledges, to me, when I look at the ledge, I look for something that kind of stands out, because that river channel, if I've got a creek that feeds into that ledge, I'll look at how fast that ledge drops off. And those big fish, I feel like they'll get down and kind of ambush mode on those ledges a lot of times, especially on those flats that fall over right there. And I kind of look for anything that stands out like that. And I feel like this time of year as well, they're coming off the spawn. Like Aaron said, not all of them spawn at the same time. So when they're coming off the spawn, I feel like they're using that river channel as a track corridor somewhat, coming down through that main lake. So, but this weather this year down here, I know on Gaston, these fish have been scattered. they definitely didn't spawn at the same time. That's for sure. It's been hit and miss here on this lake.
Yeah.
I've noticed it's been that way a lot throughout the southeast area. It's been a weird year for sure.
I think that cold came through. It initially got warm, and
Yeah.
I say it just like deer hunting. When the rut gets ready to kick in, a lot of people think, oh, the temperature doesn't have anything to do with it, but it does. Some to get those deer moved too. Same thing with the fish. That temperature just it got warm, and then it got cold again. So I think it transitioned some of those fish into fall mode, and some of them kind of held back.
Yeah.
Y'all got anything else you want to add?
Hey, I want to throw in the St. Jude's tournament. I've seen a couple people say stuff about it. Y'all go check out what Brad Andrews and them are doing, man. They got a good thing going over there. And it's going to be up on Pickwick September 4th, I think.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
Iuka, Mississippi.
Yep.
Chad and Aaron, what do you say? Let's try to get Brad on here in the next week or two.
We can do that.
Good,
we can,
talk a little bit about the tournament right there and give the details on that, and we'll try to get him lined up to get on here.
We can do that.
Before we get off of here tonight, I want to give each Joey anything else you want to add and any shout outs you want to give to anybody, man.
You can't really see me. But I do want to say, ever since catching that state record catfish, man, it has opened up a lot of avenues as far as meeting you guys and meeting new people. And, catfish industry coming on strong. It's a lot of doing good things in this industry. And I'm glad to be able to have met so many people along the way. And I look forward to continuing to meet new people. I learn something every time I get on the water, and just like talking to you guys, I use my ears more than my mouth. I like to take in more information than I put out. I learn something new every day, and when I get on the water, I like talking to the older folks. They have taught me a lot of what I know. And if I ever get to the point where I get out there and I feel like I know it all, then I'll probably just go and take the boat and put it back up under the shed, because I appreciate all the things that have been handed out as far as information. I learned a lot from you guys, everybody else too. That's something I want to send my appreciation to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Catch the Fever, they've been like family to me. And, I've met a lot along the way as well. So.
Yeah. Kaleb, anything you want to throw in here, man?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys again for having me on. And, for everybody that's out there, that's an angler who's watching this show, and just remember, get plugged in with the product, like Meat Hunter Rods. That's up here right now. Those are also some really great guys that make some great products. More importantly than getting on Facebook or social media and shouting what you use, which is great, but make sure that we all remember we're on the same team. And it's not rod wars. It's not rod holder wars. It's a big market. We need positivity in this sport. We need, anglers to, talk about the products you use, what it does for you, what you like about it, and love your fellow angler. Be good to them, and just share the word of conservation. And this industry is going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And it's good platforms like this that people really have an opportunity to role model for, and it says a lot. And that's what I like to be associated with. So,
yes, sir. Aaron and Chad, anything you want to add, man?
That's actually one of my favorite sayings that I have is, in this sport, there's 1,000 different ways to get to the same result.
That's right.
There's a bunch of different rods. There's a bunch of different hooks. There's a bunch of different line, and not one of them's right and not one of them's wrong.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Just because I have a personal preference doesn't mean that Chad's got to have the same personal preference as me.
That's right.
I mean, we've all three fished on the boat together, and we all three do things different. Doesn't necessarily mean that one way is better than the other, or one thing's better than the other. It's what works for you.
That's right.
Speaking about being on the boat together, next week I'm gonna get Stacy to tell y'all the alligator story. Y'all. Minnesota.
Oh man, y'all better tune in for that one.
I'll be looking.
Hey, Bobby, I was watching a video today, and there was an alligator in the road, and they was going to try to get it out, and they was going to grab it by the tail. I was hollering, "Don't you grab that thing by the tail. It'll bite you."
Yeah, crazy.
Guys, I want to get ready to close. I do want to give away this Cat River anchor. But before I do, I just want to read something very simple, real short. It's just one verse from the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 31. I want you to listen to this very, very carefully. Very simple. Jesus said this right here. As you would that men should do to you, do likewise to them. So it's a golden rule. Do unto your brother as you would want to be treated. And I think it's something when you go by some of these stuff right here, everything just seems to work out a whole lot better. And I've learned over the years, I just want to be able to treat my fellow man in a manner that I want to be treated. The winner of the Cat River anchor, Chris Russell. Chris, if you would contact me, you can contact me or Aaron if you got either one of us. Give us your information. We're going to need your address, your shipping address, and we're going to just put on that a comment that you won the Cat River anchor. We want to thank John Orr for donating the Cat River anchor. We want to thank River Rat Reel Repair for helping us out. We want to thank also Rocko's, Troy Smith at Rocko's Grocery. Kaleb, thank you, man, for being a part of our show. Joey, thank y'all so much, man. We've enjoyed it tonight. Guys, we look forward to seeing y'all next week. God bless y'all, and y'all have a great afternoon. Y'all hang on 1 second.